Paul Cézanne would stare at an apple for hours. Auguste Escoffier was just trying to please his customers. Igor Stravinsky was trying not to please his customers. Gertrude Stein liked to play with words, but despite their technical differences, all of these artists shared an abiding interest in human experience. Their creations were acts of exploration, ways of grappling with the mysteries they couldn't understand. These artists lived in an age of anxiety. By the middle of the 19th century, as technology usurped romanticism, the essence of human nature was being questioned. Thanks to the distressing discoveries of science, the immortal soul was dead. Man was a monkey, not a fallen angel. In the frantic search for new kinds of expression, artists came up with a new method. They looked in the mirror. As Ralph Waldo Emerson declared, the mind has become aware of itself. This inward turn created art that was exquisitely self-conscious. Its subject was our psychology. The birth of modern art was messy. The public wasn't accustomed to free verse poems or abstract paintings or plotless novels. Art was supposed to be pretty or entertaining, preferably both. It was supposed to tell us stories about the world, to give us life as it should be or could be. Reality was hard, and art was our escape. But the modernists refused to give us what we wanted. In a move of stunning arrogance and ambition, they tried to invent fictions that told the truth. Although their art was difficult, they aspired to transparency. In the forms and fractures of their work, they wanted us to see ourselves. The 8 artists in this book are not the only people who tried to understand the mind. I have chosen them because their art proved to be the most accurate, because they most explicitly anticipated our science. Nevertheless, the originality of these artists was influenced by a diverse range of other thinkers. Whitman was inspired by Emerson, Proust imbibed Bergson, Cézanne studied Pissarro, and Woolf was emboldened by Joyce. I've attempted to sketch the intellectual atmosphere that shaped their creative process, to highlight the people and ideas from which their art emerged. One of the most important influences on all of these artists, and the only influence they all shared, was the science of their time. Long before C.P. Snow mourned the sad separation of our two cultures, Whitman was busy studying brain anatomy textbooks and watching gruesome surgeries. George Eliot was reading Darwin and James Clerk Maxwell. Stein was conducting psychology experiments in William James's lab, and Woolf was learning about the biology of mental illness. It is impossible to understand their art without taking into account its relationship to science. This was a thrilling time to be studying science. By the start of the 20th century, the old dream of the Enlightenment seemed within reach. Everywhere scientists looked, mystery seemed to retreat. Life was just chemistry, and chemistry was just physics. The entire universe was nothing but a mass of vibrating molecules. For the most part, this new knowledge represented the triumph of a method. Scientists had discovered reductionism and were successfully applying it to reality. In Plato's metaphor, the reductionist aims to cut nature at its joints like a good butcher. The whole can be understood only by breaking it apart, dissecting reality until it dissolves. This is all we are: parts, acronyms, atoms. But these artists didn't simply translate the facts of science into pretty new forms. That would have been too easy. By exploring their own experiences, they expressed what no experiment could see. Since then, new scientific theories have come and gone, but this art endures, as wise and resonant as ever. We now know that Proust was right about memory. Cézanne was uncannily accurate about the visual cortex. Stein anticipated Chomsky, and Woolf pierced the mystery of consciousness. Modern neuroscience has confirmed these artistic intuitions. In each of the following chapters, I've tried to give a sense of the scientific process, of how scientists actually distill their data into rigorous new hypotheses. Every brilliant experiment, like every great work of art, starts with an act of imagination. Unfortunately, our current culture subscribes to a very narrow definition of truth. If something can't be quantified or calculated,